Okay, up until now, when we've been using Suvat, we've only really used two of our equations, which are these two here. What we want to get is we want to combine these two equations and produce three more Suvat equations. So we've got five in our collection, and then that's helpful because we've got one equation to represent each of our five quantities. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with equation 1, and I'm going to rearrange it and solve for the value of t. So with a bit of rearranging, if I subtract u, I get v minus u. And that's at, so I'm going to divide by a, and that's t is the subject. And then that expression there, that's going to go in there where that t goes. So this is equation 2, written again, s equals, and then a half, u plus v, and then when I times by t, I'm going to have it as v minus u over a. Okay, right, now I want to tidy this up on the right-hand side. Whoops. So I want to write this again. I'm going to put the u plus v on the top, but I'm going to change the order just so I've got it looking a little bit nicer. V plus u instead, and then v minus u. Makes it a bit easier to expand. Then on the bottom I've got the 2 and the a. Okay, now I'm going to expand the top, but you've got to notice that there's a difference of 2 squares. If I expand it out, I'll get v squared. Then the middle 2 terms will cancel out, minus uv plus uv, and then finally I'll get minus u squared. And that's all over 2a. Then if I solve for v squared, I can multiply by 2a. And then if I add the u squared, this is what you get for v squared. Okay, so that's our third equation. I can add it to my collection. Now we're on 3. Okay, to get the final 2 of these equations, I'm going to do the same procedure as before. I'm going to sub 1 into 2, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the letter that I'm going to sub into. So rather than solving for t, I'm going to instead solve for v, but I've already got v in terms of u plus at. And then that's going to go into 2. So equation 2 says s equals a half, and then I've got my u, but then instead of v, I'm going to use this instead. So that's another u plus at times t. And then I'm going to tidy up and expand. So s equals half, u plus u is 2u, and then there's the at times t. Then when I expand, I need to make sure I expand across the left side and across the right side. So expand the brackets. I've got a half times 2u times t. And that makes half of 2u is u times t is ut. And then for the second term, I've got a half times at times t. And that's going to be plus a half a and then t squared. So there's our fourth equation. So I'm going to add that over here. S equals ut plus a half a t squared. Okay, now one more for luck. If I do the same thing as I did before, but instead of putting v in, I'm going to put u in. So if I rearrange number 1, u becomes v minus at by subtracting at. Then that goes into 2. So writing that again, s equals half. Then rather than u, I'm going to put this bit in, v minus at. Then I've got the plus v again. And then times by t on the outside. Okay, right, I can do something similar with this. I'm going to write this again. S equals a half. V plus v makes 2v. I've now got minus at times t on the outside. Then expand it again. Half times 2v times t is vt. a half times minus AT times T is minus a half AT squared. And that's our final Suvat equation. Okay, so there's our complete collection. Now it's helpful to have all 5 of these because what you'll notice is that each one is missing one of the 5 letters. So if I look at this first equation, you notice there's no S in that one. If you look at the second one, it's no A. This third one doesn't have T in it. The fourth one doesn't have V in it. And the fifth one doesn't have U in it. So that's why it's useful to have those 5 equations. Now typically, in an exam, you're not really going to be using this 5th one, but I think it helps to have it just to have a complete collection. So that's your Suvat. That's all the ones you're going to need to use.